Thanks for having me. So do we have any entrepreneurs here in the room? Very cool. So, my perspective today comes from being an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur really all my professional career. As mentioned, I started my first startup, which was a failure at Marquette when I was a student. So my first piece of advice is start young and learn from failure. So if I wouldn't have had the opportunity to start a startup, I wouldn't have realized that there wasn't really a community around technology entrepreneurship here in Southeast Wisconsin. And so that failure led to start at Milwaukee and also having free time to start an internship, which led to me starting my IT talent acquisition company, Skills Pipeline. So start young and take risk when you're young. The next piece of advice that I've got is when starting a startup, no matter if it's a nonprofit or for-profit, because I've started both, you have to create unstoppable momentum. And what I mean by that is finding the partners and the customers that you need to get out of the gate and keep pushing and keep going. So, just kind of not stopping and keep putting yourself out there every day. The most important part is having customers, because if you don't have a customer, you don't have a business. So I see a lot of people that go out and start companies and are obsessed with their product, but ultimately if no one's going to buy your product, you aren't going to create a business. The next piece of advice is when you're a leader, you're really an editor. So what I mean by that is I take time to reflect and think, am I editing or am I writing in the business? And ultimately, everyone has to write and has to do day-to-day work. But, if you find yourself writing too much in a certain area of your business, you probably have a problem that needs to be addressed. And it could be a people problem or team problem, or it could be some bigger strategic issue. So, again, on hiring, it's, I think there are two types of people in organizations. There are cannons and there's ammunition. So, cannons are people that you can shoot through, people that can take an idea from start to finish. They can make, shit happen. So my phone says get shit done, so sorry if I'm not supposed to swear. But really what I mean by that is, cannons can guide ammunition along and make sure that the business is executing well, and that they really can edit themselves. And the more cannons that you have on your team, the more you can get done, the faster you can scale your company. Next piece of advice is, as a leader, I believe you have to be a constant learner. And the approach that I kind of take for that is to constantly be seeking new knowledge from, I'm on Twitter all the time reading news, not necessarily sharing. But seeking information, sensing how it'll impact the business, and then sharing it with the people on my team that need to know. So, seek, share, and you'll be good. The next thing kind of touches again on creating a customer-centric culture. So, customers at the Commons, we teach our students that the fundamental one thing you need to start a company is, can I call on you, Rita? It's a customer, right? Yes, good. Finally, I'd like to kind of change the perspective on entrepreneurship is often viewed as risky. And what I've come to learn is, I don't really view my day-to-day job as risky. But I do view my role as being a risk manager. So, understanding the risk that the company or companies are taking, and then, realizing how to mitigate that risk. And so every time I evaluate a new business idea, it's really looking at, what are the largest risks that I can't control? How do we mitigate them? And then how do we keep moving forward and go on from there? So that's all I've got for today. Thank you very much for having me.